So Fabrik is a product that solves 6 problems for a radio station. So it solves the live streaming issue, plus of course it's the podcasting aspect of it, along with the in-app messaging. And that's pretty important because it creates its own community within the app. Then you've got the data and analytics that come from that. And because of that, you also get digital revenue. Izwi Lumzansi in KZN as a community radio station only has a local broadcast of about 100 kilometers. But from that, they garner 140,000 people that listen to the station on a cum basis.
We service real-time content, fresh, trustworthy information. That's who we are. KZN's leading non-commercial radio station.
Most commercial radio stations are still very, very much stuck in the past. They're scared to embrace a new technology, and maybe that's part of the problem is that we've had so many different technologies in the last 20 years, from the website, which all radio stations suddenly had to have and adopt and have a live stream on. Then you've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, the next social media that is now needed to be embraced, understood, rolled out with a strategy. None of the data belongs to you though. When you've got a product like Fabrik and you've got your own app where everything integrates with one another, you've now got your own ecosystem that you're able to look at your audience and monetize that audience and communicate with that audience. They realized that their audience were actually ready for this more than the radio station was ready for it.
Once we got them to adopt and use the app, now we can use the sample size of audience members that we have to draw real-time statistics that we can then use to sell to advertisers. So I can look back and tell you that, look, on my app, I average 30,000 streams a day. I can provide that for you. It's the back end that gives us that power. So having that at our disposal allows us to keep monetizing it. The WhatsApp and the Facebooks and everything, they're all good and dandy. You can get the billion audience. But if you don't have control of that platform, then you can't monetize.
Gagasi FM is a media lifestyle brand that is mostly targeted to the Black urban listeners in KZN.
We realized the need for digital transformation a long time ago. With an audience that we speak to, being youth and young adults, digital is a very big part of their experience. How do we take the great engagement and be able to give it to the audience at a time that they want to listen to it?
The app, it's an extension of what we have on air. So it is a place that our listeners can go to in case they've missed something.
We chose Fabrik mainly because it really gave us a whole lot of options. You can refer to it as more of a suite of digital tools rather than just a normal app. The flexibility with which it is able to adapt to the audience experience, that really is what made it stand out.
Besides the fact that it's a place where we can have podcasts, can interact with people, they can interact with the presenters, it's about how we can cull information at the back end to get more info as to who it is exactly is listening to the station.
What we realized about the platform is that it was that missing link. What it provided us is an opportunity to unlock consumer insights in real time and use our multi-channel offering in more innovative ways.
When you have data that you can work on, it kind of shows you where the various tribes are. For example, if the people who are sports oriented, let's create the platform where they can engage on that level. If there are people who are really into news, how can we customize our programming to make sure that if there's a story that breaks, we're able to cater for it.
We understood our audience much more, deeply, which allows us to be able to then give solutions to our clients that go beyond just your traditional 30-second ad.
It's given us another platform to add on in terms of our revenue generation. So we are not only selling airtime now, we're also selling the app.
Versus traditional digital platforms which would give you engagement of about 2 to 3%. On the app, we saw engagement of about 8 to 12%.
it gives us solutions for our audience and also solutions for our clients. So it's a win-win.
The SBC is the national broadcaster of the Republic of Seychelles. The corporation has a public service mandate to inform, educate, and entertain the public.
My initial thoughts on the apps, I was like, okay, it's one of these apps, just gonna use it just to stream and listen to radio. But it's not just a streamer, there's more to it. We can actually engage with people. We can use voice notes to send to the studio and play it on air. We can listen to podcasts. We can monetize some of the features as well. There was a lot of avenues, and we started to think about how we can use the apps for the betterment of the radio stations.
In launching the apps, we were never sure of the engagement. We thought that it would be the diaspora, the overseas social work contingent that will be taking this app because of the data costs that are less in these countries than it is in Seychelles. But the metrics show that only about 10% of our users of the apps were overseas, compared to 90% locally. Radio apps have educated us no end and trained us into how to manage content for an online audience. In terms of the level of intelligence that the apps provide, you know, when these are spoken about in forums or the workshops and the seminar you go to, it's intangible. Only when you get it specific for your station and your demographics do you realize, my goodness, there's a lot of information there. From just a simple metrics of male, female, preference, married or not married, the amount of information that this provides to a broadcaster access is unprecedented. We are very excited by the metrics we're seeing, but certainly as far as, for example, advertising is concerned, or a particular message to a particular group, knowing who are there already, it can be tailored accordingly to them.
Our young generation here, they are all about applications, all about mobile phones, all about devices. For a youth, having the information right there on their phone without having to go to tune in on the radio or having to watch out on TV, you had us coming to you through the app, and it was very effective. So instead of people going to tune into radios and TVs, the app went directly to where they are.
The future is brilliant. We have started a journey ahead of many others. There's nothing like this. This itself is a game changer. It's a transformational enforcer to get to that point where you are able to provide a better service to your audience who are already in the OTT space, who are already watching Netflix, Facebook, and YouTube at your expense as a traditional broadcaster. So for us, the journey continues to remain relevant for our public, for our audience that we serve.